All right, everybody, this week we're going to discuss cabling again, J-lags, come along, static support system, and using J-lags, EHS cable, and a come along to tension and then release into that system. So let's get started. Already drilled my hole. We're going to pretend that I'm not standing on the ground again and that I'm up at the appropriate height, which again is 2/3 of the way from the split or union we're supporting to the very top of the tree. And we are also going to assume everybody has the correct drill bit. And for our normal 1/2-inch J-lags, which is what most offices use the most frequently, 1/2-inch J-lags, you're going to have a 3/8 inch bit. So 1/8 smaller than the diameter of the J-lag is what you want to go for. Any less than that, there could be J-lag could slip out under tension. Any more than that, it's going to be really hard to turn this in. It could also cause splitting in the stem that you're drilling or lagging into. So, already drilled the hole, and we're also going to assume that this is straight across to the other stem I'm supporting. So like I said before, we're using a J-lag, a thimble, and a dead end grip. So get this J-lag turned in. And when it's almost in, oh, I should have added, this is the more precarious part because this is where we're going to tension the cable and then release it into the dead end. I already installed the other end, so the cable I'm going to hold up here is tight and already secure at the easy end of the cable. So the first lag you install is the easiest because there's no pre-tension required. You just drill in a hole, installing the lag, attaching the cable. But I'll get into all that. Just wanted to mention that. And when we get that lag almost in, we're going to install our thimble. And then we're going to turn that lag until the end of our lag, the other side of the J part, is going to touch the bark. If it's a real thick bark tree, you could even cut a small notch out of the bark, like black locust or something that has real deep, rigid bark. You could make space for that. But on most trees, thin bark trees, you're just going to turn it in until it makes contact. What we don't want is that gap there that could allow our thimble and dead end grip to actually come off of the lag. So I'm going to hang my dead end in here for the time being. And you could use a loop sling here. I'm just going to use a light rigging sling because I had it handy. I typically put this just above my J-lag. And again, this isn't the absolute 100% way to do this. If you have a tip or instance that you do things differently, by all means keep to it. As long as we're getting the same result, I'm a happy guy. Then we're going to pull up. And like I said before, we're going to use a come along. And something else I'll add, if this is a smaller tree, or if the stems easily move, like if it's a bigger tree and there's a lot of movement in the stems, this could be done with just an extra rigging line and pulling tension into it. You could pre-tension this with a completely different line. That way there's no wasted cable, there's no reason that you could have a mistensioned cable and have to maybe redo something. But we're going to pretend we need to come along, and we're going to attach this Haven's grip to the cable that's already attached. Then per the standards, we want our cable to be done and it taut. So not tight like a guitar string, but not slack either, so snug. So the key is, and the trick is really, is you want to put enough pre-tension on here to allow you some room or space to attach your dead end, and then when you release tension, it stays tight here. So we don't need to overcome a great bend there, but I feel like that's enough. Good tension on the come along. And every one of these dead ends has a side that is shorter than the other. We're going to start with the short side. And I'm going to try to install this as close as I can get to straight, so that when I release the tension from the come along, it doesn't create slack in our cable. And I'm pretty close to the ground, so there's not much movement in these stems here. By the way, cabling systems installed on the ground are phenomenal. If you ever get a chance to install a cable 2/3 of the way into a canopy and somehow not leave or have your feet leave the ground, highly advise it. So I wound the short side on. Now I'm going to wind the long side on, making sure my dead end stays in the thimble. All right. Also a good tip, make sure you familiarize yourself with your come along before you try to release tension in a tree. I've definitely worked with come alongs that are close to being worn out, bent, dysfunctional, and this makes this process harder. But now we're going to release tension into the system. Wasn't too bad. And hopefully we're going to be left with a cable that is not slack, is not super tight, but is taut. And if we take this off here, so dead end's on, it's still in the thimble, cable's taut. Yeah, and another note, we always want our cable directly in line with where our J-lag is. So if this stem was at an angle, one way or the other, that lag is still going to go straight into the stem like it was just attached to the cable. If your cable and thimble are coming off of your J-lag at an angle, not good, not good, because that J-lag is going to weaken. It's going to pull at that drilled hole, possibly weaken, loosen, and fail over time. Want the J-lag going straight in, right off the end of the cable. Now, if I was actually installing this cable, I'd snip this extra wire off here, or cable off here, as close as I could get it, and we'd be done. Obviously, I want to reuse this cable, so I'm not going to do that. But that's the few tips I can give you about installing static support system with EHS cable using a dead end, thimble, J-lag, and a come along to tension. So let me know if I missed anything, if you have anything to add, or if yeah, let me know if I screwed up or not. But otherwise, have a good day. Thank you.